Okay, jumping on here to give you a little bit of gameplay this morning. We do this every morning. Haven't really been into the world of the horror RPGs lately. Have been more interested in games, RPGs that you can create on the fly, so to speak. This one is actually not on the fly. This is actually Castles and Caverns that I've been playing, which is my homebrew, my own homebrew game, Castles and Caverns, my own solo homebrew game, set in a fantasy sword and sorcery. Well, depending on your perspective, high fantasy or sword and sorcery perspective or setting, and not so much overt horror, but there are elements obviously of that. And Castles and Caverns can also be played as a gothic horror game. It can be adapted, and there's going to be some alternate rules for that soon. Okay, basically what you do, the process of gameplay as it's happening between, and here, not to break the subject, here we have my main character, my main PC, Erwin Hazlitt Devereaux. He's an elf thief raised by nuns in a convent after his family people were slaughtered by marauding dwarves in a war. He grew up in the convent and then left the convent to go live on the city streets and learn how to be a thief. And he was darn good at it. But he likes to hide his elvishness from people. Now, the other characters, his two, I suppose, co-PCs, but really almost NPCs here as of yet, are not even fully formed. One of them is Daff the Fighter, who is a little bit like a Conan. His village was raided again by a band of outlaws, or a band much like Genghis Khan or something, and he was sold into slavery and then made a gladiator warrior, and he's darn good at that too, and he escaped from that life. The third is a cleric, and the cleric is not even yet named. I like to do these things as the game develops. It doesn't necessarily have to entail tons of preparation for anything, because you can always ask the Oracle, or simply, well, ask the Oracle, and if a stat is needed for your co-adventurer or another member of your party, you can produce that stat fairly quickly. As long as you have a little card with their name on it to keep track of who's who, whatever you need can be produced again on the fly. And I actually almost prefer it that way, because your imagination gets to grow. There's nothing holding it back. The story develops naturally as you journal and take down notes of what's occurring, what's going on. Anyway, our three adventures are in a cavern. We're not exactly sure, excuse me, not a cavern, but an underground facility. It's almost got the dimensions of a house. It may be the basement or cellar area beneath an old manse, but we're not certain yet. It's going to have to develop again. They have cleared out a couple of rooms here and here. There's the three of them. They've cleared out a couple of rooms. They have found a potion in one of these rooms so far, and that potion is additional strength. It allows for superhuman strength for a number of rounds of combat. Now, how we develop the rooms, how we develop this game as it goes, basically just shuffle your deck and pull a card, the jack. would indicate the room that they're in, they are not going to leave yet, that something unexpected may occur. But what getting through to the actual gameplay of developing, generating rooms, if you get a face card, King is a good event, Queen is a reroll, Jack is an unexpected event, and Ace is there's a monster in the room. Otherwise, again, shuffle. Queen is a reroll. Okay, reshuffle, I suppose. Shuffle again. And finally, we have a 9. Now, I play on a game grid here, and where is my... So what we do is, since we got a 9, we have 9 squares, but what you do is you double that. So actually, 9 and 9 is 18. We have 18 squares for the next room. So count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And it doesn't matter what shape really the room is going to be, because as long as there's 18, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, as long as there's 18 squares there, the rooms are going to all go into each other based on the entrances and exits. So then we need to roll up the doors. And I don't mean the ones Jim Morrison used to play with. We take our D4, assuming that there are just about 4 exits, roll, and we have 2 exits. Now you could roll a D8 to decide where those exits are placed, but you could do it at random too. We've got 2 exits, including the one into the room. So one there, we'll say, and one here. This could be a whole hidden area. We're not certain yet. And we're not certain if they'd even discover it. But what you do after you roll up the room and the exits, the spade was the suit for that 9. So then you ask the oracle, 1, 3, and 5 being yes, 2 and 6, 1, 3, and 6 being yes, 2 and 5 being no. You ask if there was a weapon of any interest, because spades equal weapons, swords, that sort of thing in the room. And yes, there was. Then you can go to the weapons table. Right there. Right. Excuse me, that actually isn't. That is. Yeah, there we go. The weapons table. Roll a 3d6 here, and what weapon is left behind, or excuse me, not left behind, but what weapon is found in that particular room. You can go ahead and you could keep asking the oracle yes or no questions about what else. Is there anything dangerous in the room? Is there a trap on the door? That kind of thing, and then roll against the trap table, or roll against if you need something to spice things up. There's always the possibility of rolling for a random encounter, even if you don't pull a jack, so to speak, in your deck pulling dungeon generating. But this is the way that Castles and Caverns can be played. Most of it is asking the oracle yes, no questions, and then interpreting the answer. There are 2 oracles, 1, 3, and 6 being the yes answer, 2 and 5 being the no answer. but also an expanded oracle can go anywhere from 1 being an absolutely not, to 2 being no, to 3 being no. However, 4 being yes, 5 being yes and 6 being absolutely yes. So yes and being a modifier to your journaling, to your creativity, to interpret and write down what that yes means in the context of things. So right now, Erwin, Daff, and the cleric are making their way through this room. Let's go ahead and ask, is there anything... so we found a sword. Let's go ahead and ask the oracle if there's anything dangerous in the room. Oh, is there anything dangerous in this room? Yes. Is it a trap? Yes. So this room, we're going to go ahead and move them into the next room. This room there's a trap here. So somebody with a good perception of such things, I believe it would be Daff, because one of his attributes that we have decided is, even though he's not a completely formed character yet, one of his attributes is danger sense. So he would roll his IQ is 5. So I don't believe there's a modifier there as far as if the IQ is 5. Let's go to the table of modifiers. The 4 attributes. Okay, 5 gives him a +1, plus the danger sense gives him a 1d6. We'll say that the perceiving this particular trap is going to be difficult. So on the difficulty table here, we'll say it is hard. So anywhere in a range between 16 and 18 on our D20 here. Keeping in mind he's got a +1, and we can also go ahead and roll. So he's got a +4 to any roll on this D20, and he's trying to make between 16 and 18 would be success, and over 18 that would be even more than successful. That would be you'd have to interpret that as a wild success. But let's go ahead and see if Daff can smell out this trap. 5, 6, 7, and no, he did not. So you could go ahead and journal and say the party may sense a lurking danger or but they can't find it. They don't know where it's at. Erwin may say, I can feel my elvish part of me can feel a dark presence in this room. Aye, says Daff, and I feel it too. But I do not know from whence it comes. Cleric, what say you? I sense the danger as well, but my perception is flawed. Okay, so they didn't sense the trap. We could go and we could roll for both of them, but neither one of them have any special perception as far as danger sense. Let's go ahead and ask the oracle if we just spring the trap on them. Does the trap spring itself before they have time to ferret it out? It looks as if it does. So, the 3 of them, there's a trap. Let's go ahead and let's go find Now, the most incredible trap I could think of would be if there was some kind of web or something coming from the wall, and it must be in the second packet. Some kind of web or something coming from the wall, and that encloses them, and then they would have to each roll against their. You would have to roll against their dexterity to see if they could, which one of them could break free. Where is the trap chart? Monster table. I cannot. Suppose I should have this stuff. Spell table, potion table, treasure table. Well, darn. Monster table. Let's see, room size. Special monster. Unforeseen events. Let's see, did we not include plot twists? Setting the scene. It doesn't appear that we've included the trap table, so we're going to have to improvise. And my first idea or my first impression is that they are trapped in a room that is slowly getting smaller. They're trapped in a space that seems to at least be getting slowly smaller and smaller. A web seemingly has moved around them or has enclosed them, and that web is tightening, and they're all going to have to roll against their dexterity and for their ability to break free, because we all know what a giant web may mean, correct? A giant web, where there's a giant web, there's often a giant blood-sucking spider. Have a good morning. Bye-bye.